Hi Capricorns, welcome to your January 2018 readings. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. Just got a view of myself. My hair is just like, it's starting to like frizz out and stuff. Oh man. I laugh because like, my hair starts sticking out the more energy I exert, where a hat is just an easy solution to it. It's been a very rough, I'd like to say life. Saturn's out of my side. There was a brief moment of excitement there because Saturn's been in my heart my whole life. Should have just made me a freaking Capricorn. That's all I have to say. But it's sitting in. It's now moved into Capricorn. I have a Jupiter Capricorn placement, so we'll see how it goes. I'm optimistic, people. We have the Five of Wands and the Fool card. It just means that like I'm going to be very slow for any gains that I get. And yet the universe sent me into this world as a Sagittarius with a Sag Mercury and a Leo moon. Great. I've been I always say Capricorn's like Santa Claus, making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. I'm now 33. December 11th was my birthday. So I mean, I've gone through enough Saturn where I'm willing to wait for my slow progress in Jupiter here, my Jupiter Capricorn placement. That means I'm going to be getting rewards, hopefully. Fingers crossed. It'll just be slow in coming. This is going to be a very beneficial time for you guys. I'll tell you the cards I got first. We got the Five of Wands, the Fool card, the King of Cups, the Emperor, the Six of Wands. The thing that's coming through in your reading is Capricorns. You need to be aware that, yeah, okay, you know, those of you who have watched me for a while, I've explained my theory on Saturn in Capricorn. I never worry about my viewers. I mean, I do worry about you guys, but I mean, like, I don't worry about you being one of those Capricorns that are gonna, because you reap what you sow, right? And people out there are throwing the theory around that, you know, if you're a Capricorn, this is your time. Okay, if you're a good Capricorn, and you're not on that naughty list, then you're gonna reap what you sow, okay? Like, but if you're a naughty Capricorn, you're gonna reap what you sow, you know? Like, I do feel like for you Capricorns that the beginning of this transit for you, it could be a little turbulent. You see my eyes, like they could turn into like a deer. It's like, nobody wants the one to be the bearer of bad news to a Capricorn, you know? Like, a Sag can do it though. You're going to be going through some turbulent waters in the beginning, okay? I'm even getting like, you know, like it may be turbulent to the point where, you see how I'm doing this? I'm just going with emotion, people. Like, this is how I get my messages. I understand it's weird, but I'm seeing like going over waves, okay? And then when you go over these waves, like water getting into the boat and on you, like splashing you back, but I'm also seeing you like hitting the wave hard enough where it could throw you back. So, but it's like you're gonna make it through that storm, okay? Like, so it's like you're on your way to your destination, but there could be some hopefully I'm wording this right. It's almost like the universe is going to put the final obstacles, and they're not obstacles. I shouldn't use that word, especially with a Capricorn. Okay, so there are going to be some events that play out, some situations that occur that are going to be for your highest and greatest good, but may not seem like it at the time. And maybe there may be some issues that occur, some things that happen, and they're meant to happen to get you out of the final phase, to get you to go through these final emotions, like these things that you refuse to deal with. Well, Saturn was in Sagittarius, okay, the redemption process. The things that you were refusing to accept or to deal with, it's almost like the universe is going to force that on you now, okay? Because you have to deal with it in order to get to the destination that you have to go to. And some of it is emotional. And you're going to make it out of it. You are going to make it out of it. It's just I just got an image of like a little kid kicking and screaming, like the feet hit like on the bed, like hitting the bed and like swinging the arms around, like I don't want to. You gotta do it, Capricorn. I know you don't want it, but you gotta do it. There's some things that you gotta face, like, you know, you just can't get around it. All right, like, and I promise you, it's not gonna be as bad as you actually think it is. Okay, you're gonna get through it. It's gonna bring clarity to you. But I mean, the longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be, okay? And I mean, eventually the universe is going to bring the tower in. It's going to be like hammer time, man. There's no avoiding certain things here, Capricorn. You have the 7 of Wands here and the 7 of Cups. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be some boundaries that you're going to have to establish, not only with the outside world. You have the Death card. But with yourself, Capricorn, you're going to have to place some boundaries with yourself, some healthy boundaries. Okay? This could be like Capricorns are quite caring and giving. You guys are nurturing too. You got a lot of cards that fell. You got the 2 of Swords here. Okay. You have the 5 of Wands here, Capricorn. Okay, and I know people say with the 5 of Swords that that's the card that that does damage. You know, like people get hurt in that card. It's not true. In that card, 2 people walk away unharmed. I mean, their egos and their pride's bruised. They walked away unharmed, though. Okay, and the 3rd guy in that card also is unharmed. There's no blood. Okay, it's just, again, it's egos and pride bruised. All right, it's shame. Okay, and this card, the 5 of Wands, this is the card where people get hurt. It's an action-oriented card, and I like this deck, especially for the example of it, because if you look in the card, you can see actual physical harm being done. Okay, in other decks, the 5 of Wands, they're, you know, the wands, they got the sticks, and they're battling it out with each other, and they're not hitting each other softly or wearing helmets or padding or anything like that. They're actually they're out to win, right? People are going to get hurt in that, and blood's going to be drawn. Okay? So I do have a concern in your relationship sector. Relationships come in all forms. They're family members, acquaintances, siblings, best friends, husbands, wives, okay? Somebody can get hurt this month, and it's a wounding that can do a lot of damage, okay, Capricorns? I'm not sure whose side it's going to come from, your side or somebody else's side. If you don't emotionally deal with things, okay, you are going to act out. It's going to come out verbally, and it could do some harm to others around you. All right, so you want to be aware of that. Your emotions becoming off balance, and what I'm seeing is like what I am seeing is that, okay, there's some sort of situation, it could either have happened already or will happen, that has caused you physical pain in some manner. Like, the thing that I worry about is when Capricorns experience pain, they internalize it. All right? Like, you pretend like it didn't affect you. It did affect you, though. You can, like, I mean, I'm seeing it in the cards. It's going to come out in the wrong way, Capricorn. That's what I'm concerned about. All right? So you need to find an outlet, whether that means that you start, you go to the gym, you join a kickboxing class, a martial arts class, some sort of class where you can get your aggression out so it doesn't get pointed in the wrong direction. Okay? See, because in the Emperor card, you have this armor on here. Okay, Capricorn? In the Five of Wands here, there's no armor. There's nothing there to protect you. So you're putting on this front like, okay, that everything's all right. And this is an Aries card. Can be Taurus, Sag, Capricorn, Scorpio. That's the energy I'm getting with that card. Yeah, those are the signs that I'm picking up with that card. There's this, front happening where, you're untouchable or you're not emotional or you don't feel, okay? You may not perceive it as that, but other people are perceiving you as that, okay? But you do feel you are wounded. There is something happening that, I mean, the only person at this point that it's fooling is you. I mean, I don't want to say, like, come off blunt or rude or anything. It could be somebody around you. It doesn't have to be you. There is somebody here that has red hair. It's like wavy, curly red hair. Uh, this is somebody. Well, this is somebody that's watching you in the spirit realm. I don't know who they are. You're like reflecting on this person though somehow. For some of you, you're not dealing with the emotions of some particular situation that's occurred. It always concerns me when Capricorn does that because I know at the end of the day when Capricorn explodes, it's going to come out as an explosion. That not only could the situation have been prevented, but Capricorns get really hard on themselves, like extraordinarily hard on themselves, and then they feel guilty about having to get upset. There's usually good reason when a Capricorn gets upset, and things need to be said, and what they do say usually has truth to it. It's just the manner it's been done in. But what happens in this scenario, what I'm concerned about is like this isn't something that's small and minute. This is something that's going to happen, and then you're going to feel really guilty about it, and you're going to go back into the same phase, but for a different situation. The reason you're going to go back into that phase of internalizing things is going to be because you feel guilty about what you did, like how you handled it. Okay, because you're going to put a lot of and then you're just going to get back into this illusion phase. Like some of you, it's like drinking. You need to watch your drinking, okay, because that's getting you emotionally off balance. And if there's situations that do occur, you don't want to be going towards substances. It's showing substances here. You want to have self-discipline. There's a sense in your relationships here, your relationship sector at least. You do need some sort of discipline, self-discipline. With the Emperor here, that is, the Emperor is disciplined. He can be very disciplined with his emotions too. That's an Aries energy. Aries are quite fiery. They can be temperamental. But generally speaking, they got a good handle on their emotions. Aries men tend to be more closed off. Aries women can be very closed off too. Not like closed off emotionally wise, but I mean closed off, and they're very disciplined with their emotions. They're very skilled at holding back. When Aries gets mad, there's usually a good reason for an Aries getting mad too. You have a little adventure you're going to go on here. There's a pair of skis in here. You could be going skiing even. And I say adventure because you have the arrow here too. You have some sort of journey you could possibly go on, a little ski trip that could do you some good. You need to get some sort of physical outlet for anything that you're repressing outward. Some of you may even be counselors that you need to go see, or some sort of advisor. If you find that things are a problem in your relationship sector, it is due to being stern and firm, and emotions being off balance. Like clarity, it's like clarity is needed. It's like not saying that you like something, Capricorn, if you don't like it. You know what I mean? It's like because Capricorns are very considerate. They're very considerate. Sometimes, like with their wives, and I've seen my father do this like my whole life, and I have a few uncles that are Capricorns. I do know a few Capricorn women's. I've also seen one of my best friends. She's a Capricorn, Charlene. I've seen her do this with her sister too. I brought it up for years. Like she's got to stop doing it. Like when they cook for you, like when her sister cooks for her, like my mom's made meals for my dad, and they're like, "Oh, it's great, and they really don't like it. And then what ends up happening, Capricorn, because you said it was great and you were so enthusiastic about it, they end up making it for you multiple times, like, and you can avoid that situation if you were just honest. And a Capricorn doesn't, they don't want to hurt your feelings in a scenario like that, right? Like, okay, because Capricorns, people may say that they don't feel, but they do feel. If you're one of those Capricorns who's like, "Oh, I don't feel," well, okay, then you might want to go see somebody because something's wrong. You're a human. All humans feel. All right? That's how you heal. You can't heal until you feel. If you don't feel, then literally something is wrong. Either you're a psychopath or a narcissist. All right? You might want to get that looked after. I don't think there's anything they can do for a narcissist or a psychopath, but you never know. A lot of mental illnesses that people have, it's not an illness. An illness would be like, I have my own theories on that too. Go figure. But an illness would imply like it's something that's foreign to your body that you need to get rid of. All right. And most mental illnesses, they're not illnesses because it's not something foreign to the body. It's the wiring in the brain that's not making the connection. And it's not the fact that it's not making the connection. It's disconnected due to it doesn't want to connect. There's a reason why it doesn't want to connect. If it's not connecting, it's because it's hiding something that it doesn't want to deal with. It doesn't want to face. All right. And there's usually a way to fix that without medication. Medication is not a solution for the problem. What the solution is for the problem is correcting the wiring. It's reconnecting the wiring. It's allowing the spark to come back to life, right? So it's like learning to process. The thinking process needs to change here. Some of you could have a fear about a new start, new beginning, new job, career even. I'm just going to take a sip of my juice box. They're small and they conveniently fit in your bag. So, what we have coming in at work, we have a new beginning here, Capricorn. Don't be fearful of any new changes or decisions that you make. We have the Fool card here. Okay. A lot of people, again, with the Fool card, they're like, oh, well, okay, yes, don't be naive. When the Fool card comes up for a Capricorn, and they're not going to be naive. It's a Capricorn. And Capricorns think things through. You have a Gemini energy also, I'm feeling, with this card. The Gemini energy I'm getting, they're quite, it's not scientific. It is science, but it's not, they're not scientific. They may be able to make connections somehow. I don't know, like, I'm not clearly getting that message through. But the thing with the Fool card, it's like, okay, he's not a fool. He's at the top of the cliff. He's overlooking the cliff, which means he can see the horizons. He can see multiple pathways. He can see different ways to get to his destination. All right, he's looking out. He's looking at his best route that he can take, you know, with the least resistance, because there's probably a jungle down there that he's got to like hack his way through, and some river that he's got to like swim across, maybe even like a waterfall. It's the wild out there, all right? You never know what's going to happen, okay? But he's well equipped for it all. He's got an overview of it, right? He's got a bigger picture. He sees everything. He knows the direction he has to go, okay? You have the Six of Wands under it, which means that you've got to take action. It is a journey. It's a horse. It's going on a journey. Horses can take a lot. They can take a pretty good beating, all right? They can go without water and food for a while and still exert a mass amount of energy. Like, I think this is more a camel. I don't think that one's a horse. I think it may be a camel. All right, so like with the camel, it's like you have the water that you need. All right, there's also the sense of, again, holding the emotions in, Capricorn. You might want to write things down. Some of you, your partner could be stressed due to work, right? They're quite moody. I'm getting some of them are moody. They're temperamental. And if they are, it would be due to work. They're tired. Okay? Just because people are adults does not mean that they do not suffer or divert to childish behavior, right? That, like, you could be 60, it's still going to happen. Okay? So, like, when you look at your partner, okay? Adults are still 3-year-olds, all right? When you look at your partner and you can't understand them, look at them like a 3-year-old. It sounds messed up. Just do it. It works, all right? Because when your partner's all grumpy and you're like looking at them as a mature adult, like, I don't understand you. You're driving me nuts. Look at them as a 3-year-old. If a 3-year-old's acting out, why is it that they're acting out? Why are they moody when they're 3? Probably because they missed their nap or they're hungry. Simple solution, right? Why are they getting so mad over something so small and minute? Because their feelings are probably hurt. Maybe Capricorn, you know, like, maybe that situation that I was saying about like making something and then like you said that you didn't like it and the person's feelings get hurt, then they get a little mad and they give you the silent treatment. You're not understanding why. All right, like, you can either suffer the consequences in short term or you can suffer them long term. So in that scenario, you can either like disappoint the person. It's not well, I don't want to say that because Capricorns don't like disappointing people. That's like the worst. That's got to be a fear that a Capricorn has. One of those underlining fears that are deep down in there. But you could avoid the situation eating a bad meal for like 20 years. Because Capricorn will say that they like something for 20 years just so that they don't offend somebody or hurt them, somebody that they care about. Or you could suffer the short-term ramifications and just admit that you don't like something, and then the person be like, oh, okay, you don't like it, my feelings are hurt, and then you just be like, well, it's not that I don't like the way you cooked it, it's just I don't like those particular items. You know, that's not my style, or it's, you know, doesn't suit my taste buds. Okay, at work you have to take action, Capricorn. Whatever your ideas, whatever it is you want to do, you have death here, right? Some of you, this could be losing customers, a job. Okay, if that happens, if it's with customers, okay, it would be due to aggression. The Six of Wands is usually aggression. It's quite aggressive. It depends on the deck, but with this card, it is more aggressive. It's barbaric, even. That particular word came through. I'm not sure why. And I'm also seeing the Flintstones. Some of these readings are getting so weird. So it's like times have changed, right? Like you may have to go a little more with the flow, Capricorn, at work. All right, like you may want to keep things the way they are, but there's something that needs to stop, and you need to start it from a new angle. Okay, there needs to be a new beginning, and it needs to be more emotional. Okay, you have the King of Cups here. The King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, to me, both of those cards are the mother and father. For me, they're the mother-father cards because they're emotionally nurturing. All right? They emotionally nurture their child. Where some of you could want a new start if you're a father with your child. So it's like being more emotionally open with them. You have a lot of walls up, Capricorn. And it could be due to like changes happening. You're going to have to go with the flow though, Capricorn, and you're going to have to experience some of the stuff that I know that you are trying to avoid. There's no avoiding it. The change is going to happen whether you want it to or not. Okay? And the things that you don't want to face, the more you don't tend to those issues, the more they're going to be thrown in your face and the more harm it's going to cause. Okay? Because Saturn wants to bring you all these good things. Okay? But it can't bring it to you until you like do the work. All right? Lessons must be learned. Okay, and in this time frame, you are going to get new opportunities for new jobs that can make you uncomfortable, especially a Capricorn. Their foundation is like their all, and you may have to shift your foundation to a new area, try a new creative project. Okay, you do have a strong science energy coming through here, so it's like, and that makes sense. Capricorns are pretty good problem solvers. I wouldn't say pretty good, I would say damn good. They take a little longer, but they consider majority of everything. However, the fault that a Capricorn will come across is if they give in to their temptations, which is like their money. That's when they'll start making mistakes. If they're going after things for just specifically money, that's when the errors will start to occur because you are so focused on the destination that you miss the journey. All right. And it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Right. Because you can't get to your destination until you go on your journey. Okay. But if you're focused on the actual end game, you're going to miss everything that goes along with that. And that's when the errors will occur. And when you get to your destination, you're going to realize that it wasn't as great as you thought it was going to be, or it wasn't as, it didn't go the way you wanted it to. And if that's the case, it'll be because you missed the journey, right? You're so busy like driving in the front seat that sometimes you got to sit in the back seat, right? You got to look around you, you got to observe, you got to know your environment, the conditions that you're surrounded in, right? Like, because you're going to miss some things, right? It means like, hopefully that makes sense. Pretty serious readings that are happening in January. Some people aren't liking it. I'm not here to like give people rainbows and butterflies though, you know, like I want you all to heal and to have better lives. And in order to do that, we have to face cold, hard facts. It's like, there's no easy way around that. I mean, I got to do it. I've been doing it. I have this image of like Capricorn. I don't know why it's coming up masculine. It could like, I'm not picking it up as female. It could be a female. I'm picking it up as more as the male Capricorns, like this giant like persona of like being like macho and untouchable, and like females can take on this persona too. If a female's taking on this persona, they got some serious emotional wounds though. Like there's emotional wounding, right? Because like to be vulnerable is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of strength, right? Okay, to have to put on a facade of being strong all the time, that means that you're trying to use intimidation or somebody. I'm not going to say you. It could be somebody around you, because you could be a male or a female dealing with your spouse or a child or a friend or a loved one, a sibling, somebody who has this persona on of nothing can phase them, nothing touches them, that they have the answers for everything. Okay, well then they're projecting out their inner fears. Okay, like that's a facade. That's what they want on the inside, but they're not. They're not that on the inside, okay? Because if they were, they would be quite soft. They can be soft. They're accepting of other people's opinions. They're accepting that they don't know everything. They're accepting that, through life they have to be both the teacher and the student, okay? Because you can't teach if you can't learn. You got to, even teachers have to upgrade their agendas, their teaching schedules, they have to update that. If you study first aid, okay, paramedics, doctors, they have to go back to school. Things change, rules change, procedures change. Like CPR used to be, 3 breaths, 30 compressions. Then it changed to like 10 compressions, 1 breath. Then it changed to 30 compressions, 1 breath. Then it changed to 1 breath, 30 compressions. Okay, and that's all based on statistics. Statistics change, survival rates change, depending on the method that's done. I don't know when that came through here, but things change. You got to go with the flow. All right. This person has to learn to go with the flow. If you have somebody around you that has this tough guy persona, or like they don't feel, I'm seeing like, what do they call that thing? Judge Judy. Thing that they smack down. Order in the court. Order in the court. I'm seeing that. Somebody's very like, they just also got like, I'm seeing like shaking. Somebody's like hyperactive. You can see it. It's almost like a bipolar. I wouldn't say bipolar. Histrionic personality disorder. And histrionic personality disorder can be quite hard to detect in younger people due to hormones, right? Like, because hormones are fluctuating, so like younger people can be quite horny. So when they're in their early 20s and late teens, it's harder to detect that stuff, because usually the given sign for a person that suffers from histrionic personality disorder is sexuality. It's their body. They also have a fear as they're getting older. They use their body. Some of them don't even have children due to the fear of like their body self-image, because they use their body to get them through life. They're very sexually oriented. You can usually tell in an older person because they will like use their body constantly. A younger person, again, it's harder to tell in a younger person. Usually you can tell because they always bring the topic back to sex constantly. And an older person's the same thing. If there's an over sexualization, like they have a fear of getting old too. They can be confused with a narcissist. they can have quite a few side effects, like a narcissist. You know, most people do suffer from one or two of the traits of a narcissist, whether people want to admit it or not. You need 5 of them, though. You know, that's like, don't jump to conclusions. But you could have somebody around you that, I mean, like I am seeing some people might see them as a narcissist, but they're not. They have a histrionic personality disorder, and there's not much you can do for a person like that. That's something that again, it comes down to wiring. They really need to get the wiring fixed in the brain. They don't necessarily need medications. They just need to be taught how to process things and make the connections. You have the 8 of Cups, 3 of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords came where I was talking about the histrionic personality disorder that came through there. Somebody could be bipolar. Okay, and bipolar, a lot of, I don't know, a lot, like, I don't want to get into it because, like, I'm not going to be bringing up all the facts and everything in this video, right? So, like, I don't want to misinform people, but bipolar can be confused. A lot of people can wrongly diagnose somebody with being bipolar, or just because they've heard about the topic, they start bringing it up, but they don't have the facts, okay? So the number one thing, if somebody is bipolar, okay, the number one thing you'll see is that they will spend money and they will buy the same thing, a ridiculous amount of them. It's not like somebody like say myself, like I got the shirt in black and white, right? Like I bought the shirt in black and white because I like the shirt. That's normal. What's not normal is going and buying like all the milk in a store. People who suffer from bipolar, like, I shouldn't laugh because they will actually do that. They will actually go to the store, spend all of their money on one item, and buy it all out. Okay? Some people, they can, with bipolar, they'll have multiple sexual partners. They can be committed, but they will have multiple partners. It's like, it's an illness that needs to be tended to, but again, it comes down to wiring, and it's, you know, I kind of stand like I don't believe, like, I've studied a lot of psychology, I got certifications and stuff like that in it. However, I don't believe in the method that people use for treatment. I don't believe it's an illness where you need medication for. Again, illness is a foreign object in your body that it shouldn't be there. Okay, your brain should be there. It's kind of a given, right? It's the wiring at some point. It's the wiring got disconnected. That would be due to a trauma somewhere in the life, and the brain unconsciously. Okay, it's kind of like somebody that has a personality disorder, like or multiple personalities. Okay, they've made up false personalities to take over in different areas. Because they've closed off. They can't do it functioning as a whole, right? Like, so they need to separate themselves in order for one side of them not to feel guilty, all right? So it's like they have a personality to handle anger, right? Because as a whole, when they were whole, they couldn't express themselves in a or get angry because they would feel guilty about it. Okay, it could be like a person who sleeps, part of a personality that is hidden in their day-to-day life, or that they're repressing. So somebody who represses anger, which means that they don't, generally speaking, they don't get angry. In their sleep, they could swear a lot. Okay, you might hear them talking in their sleep and they're swearing. It's part of the unconscious mind releasing what's been repressed. A lot of the wiring that happens that gets disconnected, it's due to repression, right? And the brain is scared to make the connections because it thinks it's protecting the human mind from something traumatic that it doesn't need to experience. You do have a sort of truth here, right? Cutting through the truth. If you have a partner and you're having problems, the partner you're with is the one that you're supposed to be with. This is based on mythology. It is based on the Thor Odin days. This is basically the twin flame card. Okay, well, in the story at least. With it's about the tree. Every tree has another tree, its other half. It's part of a whole stump. If you're with somebody, you have that already. You're creating emotional boundaries with them, though. Okay, so when you're upset, it's coming out as, or like when you're emotionally off balance, or something's bothering you, or it harmed you, or it hurt you, or it could be the other person. This could be referring to your child because it's coming at home, and also home is where the heart is. It's saying that, like, whatever that is, it's coming out as anger. Okay, like it's not being expressed properly. Hopefully that helped you out. It's weird readings this month, you guys. I don't really get to pick and choose the method of how I do this. I did try when I first started doing this a few years ago, like 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago now, I think it's been. It just didn't work for me. It's all energy based for me, and energies can they fan out over a large span of time. There's no set time frame with energies. Time is only something that we have on Earth, right? Okay, you guys, hopefully that helped you out. Namaste, and I will talk to you next month. Ciao for now.